Thank you, Charles. I will talk more about landscape and art than perhaps about the Dallas projects per se. But these two projects, the Museum of Art and Fountain Place, are memorable markers in downtown Dallas. And they illustrate that the works of landscape architecture are art, and that landscape architecture is in the foreground of early 21st century design. Now, art has been defined as the conscious production of or arrangement of elements in a manner that affects the sense of beauty. The most important function of the architect and the landscape architect is to resolve all the factors to determine how much weight each commands and to translate all into unified works of art. Now, with regard to my approach to the Dallas projects, it's fitting to refer to an earlier Kiley Tyndall Walker urban landscape design. EPAD, a French government agency, was responsible for the development of a satellite city on the outskirts of Paris. The French government agency had gone to Oakland, seen this work, and we got a contract thereafter to be retained to develop a master plan for the central pedestrian concourse. Where do we go from here?
Just enter.
Oh, okay. To Paris, one November day. The dial is approximately, or the deck is 1 kilometer long and 100 meters wide. And 1/3 of it had been constructed prior to our involvement, and it was the work or the product of an in-house engineering department within the agency, with little or no input from an architect or a landscape architect. And it was generally acknowledged that it needed some humanization. So this is the overall master plan. We completed 50% of the construction documentation and building, left the rest for the government agency to complete. But within the first phase of the development is a monumental fountain. And so that is at the middle section of the plan, as we see the blue indication. This was a collaboration with a sculptor called Agam. And we took one of his prints, which you see on the right-hand side, and we created a basin 60 meters wide by 30 meters. And his bottom is Venetian mosaic tiles. And as I said, it's derived from one of his colorful prints. 66 jets of water create a display. And they're programmed to throw lighted columns of water 14.5 meters high. The important issue here was that there was a water cascade over this accordion condition at the base. And you could see it from the roadway. And so, in addition to it being an experience at the roadway level, you do have this super graphic on the deck itself. Now, to get to the discussion about Dallas, the Dallas Arts District Consortium encouraged private and public investors to come together and with good design achieved a lively pedestrian environment. And of course, there have been these recent increase in residency downtown, which has only enlarged the vibrant mix and pedestrian activities within downtown. Now, the museum preceded the district plan, and this is the earliest document I could find from our bare files. And it does show the terminus being the museum itself, with its barrel vault and fountain at its entry condition at the end of the street, at Flower Street. Now, this museum is low in profile, and it's quite unlike anything that we have done before. Never try and do two things twice, but quite unlike the work at the National Gallery, for example, which we did, or at the Sarah Scaife Gallery in Pittsburgh, which was another project which we did with Ed Barnes and my good friend, Alistair Bevington, his partner. The firm was noted for embracing classical design principles with functionalism, which is in harmony with my own work, which is not about current trends, but rather is a balance of restrained and cutting-edge modernism, possessing significant elements in the use of simple geometry. Within the building are 3 small interior courts. And they're small but distinctive in design, but a major element is the sculpture garden or court, with its 3 freestanding walls partitioning the court. At the base of each wall is a small narrow canal which links each wall, and the ribbon of water together with the water walls define 3 compartments as one to house the sculpture. So we're talking about the upper area here on the left-hand side. Stepped planters with oak trees, oak groves, seating and sculpture installations complete a singular composition. Water, refreshing in the arid climate of Dallas, brings us to Fountain Place. Fountain Place was cited by the Architectural Review, which is the London publication, as the best urban design of the 80s. And Fountain Place apparently is the most extensive water garden constructed since the Renaissance. It occupies 6 acres, offering a variety of experiences from dark and tranquil pools. And this may have been the gem of the idea of the water garden. This is the master plan, which only 50% of it had been completed until yesterday. Now completed, I'm happy to say, in the picture of this plan as you see it. But be that as it may, it has been realized in some form. A canopy of trees 140 bald cypresses on 15-foot centers with over 260 bubbler fountains that are staggered between walkways which appear to float. The walkways, pedestrian ways, the trees, they appear to float. Of course, we have to protect these trees, so they are in containers because the water is alien to the good growth of the trees themselves. Now, the water displays contribute to night and day spectacles. And this space is, in effect, an oasis, cooled by water, shaded by the tree canopy, and I would think it's a popular venue. Now, just one comment about the relationship with the client. A measure of great architecture and landscape architecture is the product not only of the caliber of the designer, but importantly, you have to have a great client as well. At Fountain Place, Criswell, the developer, gave low-key but strong direction in the program and the design. Of paramount importance was the fact that this was to be a unique venture for office marketing, with the bonus of a quality, privately funded outdoor space available to the public. At a point in the design, the client was concerned about the predominance of water. There was no multi-use space or plaza for special events. So Criswell instructed me to go to Universal City, meet two fountain consultants, two fountain designers, who were just quitting with Disney. Come up with a solution, Peter. So after a weekend charrette in Los Angeles, the fountain designers, the future firm is called WET. And I traveled back to Dallas and presented the concept of a centrally located plaza. Something which Criswell had wanted, that perhaps the Dallas Symphony Orchestra could come here and present a concert at lunchtime. The urban landscape is our greatest collective and cultural achievement, with the largest concentration of art and design. The desire for the good life at home, at work, and the opportunities for the pursuit of happiness, particularly for enjoyment of the outdoors, have motivated people to come together and stay together. Dallas Museum of Art, Fountain Place, and the Nasher Sculpture Center, are testimony to such a sense of place. Within the economic, political climate, there is growth and the impact of change. By maintaining a balance of open space within the increased building density, there is an assurance of continued and constructive life and new opportunities for design. There is a critical change in the consciousness about landscape, now valued not only for aesthetic beauty, but also as part of a critical change in consciousness about landscape. Not only do we have to maintain and enhance and preserve, but the character of our age, the mood of urban life, recognizes that an important, essential ingredient is that landscaped open spaces be available and maintained. In the words of Olmsted, for the mind without fatigue, and yet exercises it, tranquilizes it, and yet enlivens it. Thank you.